What's up, everybody? Guys, I'm finally popping up on here to give a few updates on the Gabby Petito case. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been following me on Instagram, where I have been updating a lot of things over there as they come in. I try to update as much as possible when I see new updates on there. So if you're not following me, it's Tina_Phillips_. And I'm just going to pop on Twitter real quick to see if there's any other updates. Okay, there is an update. So, hey everybody, say hello as you come in. Colby Jones, we got Trucker Wife, Rayleigh, Peggy, Carmen. Hello everybody, you guys. And just an FYI before we get started on talking about this, I will be going live hopefully tonight, fingers crossed, for clickbait, to talk about clickbait, hopefully tonight. It would probably have to be after the Packers game because I got to watch the Packers game, but I will be going live to talk about that. The rest of the episodes, the last 4 episodes of that. So if you guys are up late, hopefully you can join me. Peggy, did I get your message on IG? Let me check it out. I've been getting quite a few messages. Oh, Peggy, there you are. Ooh. Midnight Mass. I haven't checked that out, Peggy, but I will definitely look at it and watch the preview and see. Hey, Jen. So glad you're here. Jen is the troll slayer. She will slay you if you're not nice. Dog's going to find him. Okay, so I posted this on my Instagram, but I think, was it yesterday that Dog the Bounty Hunter, you guys, was seen at the Laundrie home yesterday. He went up there like typical dog fashion and just like started knocking on the door, like hoping that they would open the door, and they never did. So, and then I don't know if you guys saw the interview with him. Did anyone watch the interview where they asked him anything? He was like talking all about it. You guys think he'll find him? You think so, huh? Part of me is like, I have a hard time taking him seriously because I'm like, is this all for like show? Are you just like, or are you actually like gonna try to find him? Like, obviously he's kind of like a no BS kind of guy. And so I hope he's in it for the right reasons and is actually in it to find Brian. But it's kind of hard for it to not seem like kind of like a spectacle. I hope not. I hope he's like using all his resources to try to find Brian. But he did an interview after he went to the house, and he was telling them in the interview, he had mentioned how Brian, okay, so Gabby's best friend was talking about how Brian had been in the Appalachian Mountains by himself for like a crazy period of time and totally survived it. Like, so he's like, he obviously knows what he's doing out in the wilderness. Like, so he's like, we're not dealing with somebody who is just used to like camping in a tent every once in a while. Like, this guy knows how to survive in the wilderness. And can I just say, like, I am so shocked that they have not found anything with him, like with how many resources they've had and how long they've been searching. I think how long has it been? Maybe, has it been 10 days, 11 days, something like that they've been searching for him and have found nothing? It's kind of crazy. Oh, see, Jen said, yes, the Appalachian Trail crossed my mind. And so Dog the Bounty Hunter was like, we need to look there because he's obviously been there. He knows it. But for some reason, the FBI, they are so stuck on this search at the Carlton Reserve that they're not searching that we know of anywhere else. Like, this is the place. But I don't know if you guys noticed in the interview with Dog the Bounty Hunter, he had said, and I don't know if this was a slip up or what, but he said that they caught him on like the trail cam in the reserve. And so part of me is like, oh, maybe they saw him there and now they're like totally searching for him. For me, I would think that the FBI would have to have more than just one lead to keep on searching in that reserve, because if they're just basing it off the parents, then that would be the dumbest thing I would ever see, because you can't trust the parents, right? He does like the spotlight. That's so true. I think they will find him. He's pretty darn good at what he does. Okay, Peggy, you guys, you know what? A lot of people messaged me on Instagram after I posted it, and everyone's like, he's gonna get him. Everyone has like all the faith in the world with Dog the Bounty Hunter, and everyone's so convinced that he's gonna find him. How freaking awesome would that be? I just want him found. I don't care who finds him. I hope he finds him, because something needs to be done. He's awesome at finding people. See, you guys totally, that's so funny. Yeah, I saw the interview on Fox News. There's also a good movie called, Melissa McCarthy. That's good. Sad though. Okay. Trail crossed my mind. Sorry, I'm going like back up to comments because I wanted to see what you guys were saying. So his daughter died suddenly, so he feels this one is personal. Oh, I get that. Sometimes it, like, if it feels personal, it like lights a fire under people, especially him with like so many resources. Oh, okay. So the other thing he was saying in the interview is like people were kind of like wondering if he kind of had an idea of where he thinks they went. So he doesn't think that Brian went to Mexico, because he feels like if Brian were to go to Mexico, the drug cartel would totally turn him over for money. So he doesn't feel like he went to Mexico. He did mention possibly the Appalachian Mountains, just because he had been there before. I'm trying to think what else he was saying. If anyone can find him, Dog will find him. They very well might have found evidence, but have not shared about it with the public. Exactly. And that's what I'm thinking. They've got to have some other evidence other than just the parents, because I can't imagine they would be going this long without other evidence. Charles, thank you so much for the $5 super chat, just because. That's so nice. Thank you. Unless there's some kind of underground shelter he's hiding in, something he built a while ago. You never know, you guys. If this whole thing was premeditated, because who knows, because of all the books that he was reading, that it makes it seem like this has kind of been in his mind. He could have had something set up. Who knows? Like, anything's really possible at this point. Definitely don't trust the parents. Yeah, not a single one of you guys trust the parents. I put a poll on Instagram, or I put a question thing on Instagram, and so many of you guys were saying the parents have something to do with, like, basically aiding him to hide things, but who knows what else they're involved in. Dog had said he didn't know, and the police didn't know for sure if the trail cam was really him. That is the one thing I'm finding with this guy is, holy crap, this guy has so many doppelgangers. Like, so many people have thought they have spotted him, and it's like sightings of people that literally look just like him. But it's never like clear. It's never clear footage of the pictures. So it's like, it's so hard to tell, but it's like, dang, he's got a lot of people that look like him. Trucker wife says the parents know where he is if he's okay, because any parent would be losing their minds if their loved one was missing, and they are just getting groceries delivered and just relax about it all. They do seem, I mean, who knows? Maybe they're distraught in the home. But yeah, I feel like I would be trying to turn over every single leaf to find my kid. You know what I mean? And so part of me feels like, and the funny thing was when the parents, so apparently Brian left without his phone and his wallet, and his parents had said like they were worried that he was going to hurt himself. It's like, okay, but you weren't that worried because you didn't even report him missing for 3 days. So you obviously weren't that worried that he was going to hurt himself, because you would have reported it way sooner than that had you thought, or you would think that they would. He gets attached to some of these cases, and it's like he can figure out spots before the cops can. I believe it. I do feel like there's a lot of like bounty hunters, and like even seeing some people like on the internet, I'm like, wow, like you put so many different minds to it. Like, I feel like a lot of people think outside of the box, where maybe the FBI or the police are trained to think and do things a certain way, that sometimes they get so stuck on something that it's harder to think outside of the box. So to pull somebody in, like a bounty hunter, or like, I feel like even people on the internet have found so many different clues and different things that it's helped with the case. He gets okay. Why does his parents' house remind me of Casey Anthony's house? It does kind of, huh? You may have just said, I just got on, but why would the FBI go to the house to get DNA from the, oh, I haven't talked about that yet. You're right though. Okay. So parents trust that they would actually give them the right DNA, like they have been so willing to help. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So I don't know if you guys have heard, but earlier today, the FBI went to the Laundrie's house to collect some more DNA. The FBI was there for like 3 minutes. They went in, got the whatever the parents had, and then left. People are saying it wasn't anything big because the FBI came out with like just like a little white envelope or something. So it had to have been some, I mean, who knows? It could have been like, I don't know what would have is like maybe a hair, maybe something from a toothbrush. I don't know. But a lot of people are speculating that they're possibly using that DNA to see if they can match the DNA with something with Gabby's body or something like that. So people are speculating that that's maybe why. That you would think they would already have had his DNA somehow, but apparently they needed something. And that was according to the Laundrie's lawyer. For the parents to say we were concerned about his mental health, but then have not said a word since and have been hiding in their house, I would be talking to the news to every news source trying to find him. Yeah, you would do probably exactly what Gabby's family did, which was like try to get the story out as much as possible. But I think it's different for them in that everyone literally hates them and hates Brian. They've already pretty much, have rendered him guilty. And so I think for them, it's probably, but it is weird. It's like, if you want to clear your name, if you want to set things straight, like you should be talking to either the media or talking through your lawyer to the media about specific questions rather than like, you guys look so shady. It's crazy. Let's see. Just checking. Oh, yes, Colby, you did. Yep, I did get that. Okay, sorry. I'm just trying to read through some of these comments. How about the attorney too? Holy crap. Yeah, the attorney's so shady too. And I'm like, I don't know if the attorney's giving them the best advice, honestly. Exactly. He had a burner phone so they can talk to him. He's got to have something. If he's still alive, you would think he would have to have something, some sort of communication, some sort of something to know, like where they're. I don't know, but part of me is like, is he dead? Like, is he just dead and we can't find his body? I just read an update on Twitter. They said that the police say the search at the reserve is continuing by air. So they need water levels to drop in some areas. Many of the trails are very flooded. So they're continuing it by air. I don't know how much they're going to find that way, guys. It's going to be very difficult. It's just looking more and more grim. And I'm just curious, like, what are they searching for him? Like thinking he's alive, or are they searching for his body? Like, what are they searching for? I didn't see a casket at Gabby's funeral or viewing. The video is online now and the father speaking. Yeah. Did you guys watch that video? It was what the two dads had to say was so sweet. There was a kneeling thing above some, so I believe it was closed casket or she wasn't there. It looked almost like a cremation. Yeah, I didn't notice a casket there either. And so I was thinking, I don't know if is her body with her family now or was she cremated? I don't know. So you're right though. I did not see a casket at all. The dog will hunt. Yep. That's what everyone's saying. Everyone has all the faith in the world in Dog the Bounty Hunter. He's definitely in contact with a burner phone. He's got to be if he's alive, right? Just my opinion, but I don't think the parents are meeting with attorneys for Brian. I think they are meeting with attorneys for themselves. Oh, I totally agree, because if anything comes out that they help Brian in any way with this, they're in so much trouble. So we'll see what happens. Parents killed Brian. Oh, that's one I haven't heard yet. That's what I have not heard yet. Could you imagine? Oh my. I feel like if that were the case, they would have found something when they searched the Laundrie's home. So remember when they went in there and they were just like searching everything? I feel like they would have seen something or something if they did. So who knows at this point, you guys? This case is so insane. I have no idea. Oh, it's not in New York yet. Okay, so her body is not in New York. It's still in Wyoming for the autopsy. Okay, so that's probably why. So it was just probably just like a memorial to like celebrate her life. Callie, yeah. So at the beginning of this live, I mentioned I'm going to try to go live tonight for the clickbait show, but it's going to have to be after the Packers game because I promised to watch the Packers game with Ethan. So it might be a little bit late, but I am planning on it. And I do have an idea for a new show to watch also. Dog has done it before. Yeah, so who knows? Like I said, if you're thinking outside of the box, it could totally help. They're going to use her body for front lawn Halloween decorations. What? That's okay. Okay. Sorry. Yes, Aaron, I totally agree. Packers are going to lose. No. Oh, Charles, they're playing your team today. That's right. I hope they don't lose. On the case as well. John Walsh, I have so much respect for him, for sure. He's on the case as well. So between Dog and Bounty and John Walsh, I think he will be found. I sure hope so. Yeah, you know, I have heard other comments of people with Dog, the bounty hunter. Some people feel like he's doing it for just like the show of everything, and then others think he's doing it for the right reason. So everyone has their opinion, but yeah, it was Wilson. I agree. I totally blocked it. So did you hear the police went to the Laundrie house for DNA? Yes, we were just talking about that, Amy, how they went for DNA today. You may have already talked about it. Yeah, so we were just talking about it. What are your guys' thoughts? What do you think they're needing the DNA for? John Walsh takes these cases seriously as well. Yeah, he does, because his daughter, right? Yeah, I have a lot of respect for John Walsh. And I think he had a lot of good things to say about this case and kind of where the ball has been dropped. I totally agree with a lot of the things that he had said. Went to the Laundrie house for, yes, okay. Charles, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. The lawyer could be hiding him. My lawyer does until former charges. Yeah, could. I mean, he's being sought out now because of the phone, though, or not the phone, the debit card, for using the debit card. So he does technically have a federal a federal warrant out for his arrest. So Tina, talk about who the attorney also represented. Oh, okay. So I think there was some confusion with that. I actually updated that in my Instagram stories too, but the parents a few days ago left their house, went to Orlando, drove to Orlando and met at a building that was like down the block from Casey Anthony's attorney. So there was a lot of speculation that they were meeting with Casey Anthony's old attorney. What's his name? I forget. And so everyone was like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, don't tell me this is his attorney. Well, it came out that their actual attorney lives in New York, actually flew to Orlando, and they met with him So, but from what I hear, this attorney that they have from New York is a family friend, and he's not even like, he's like a real estate attorney or something crazy like that. So I don't know what they're doing. They didn't even go in. They went to the door and Laundrie had it waiting. Okay. Interesting. I'd be curious what the DNA is for. I mean, it seems they could have gotten some of his DNA from the van. I thought that too, Amy. They inspected for evidence and all the stuff they took out of his house, or is that not how DNA works? I don't know. I thought the same thing. I'm like, surely they were able, like his DNA was all over the van, all over the car, all over so many things that they took out of the house. You would think that his DNA was on, but apparently they needed more. So yes, his son Adam was murdered. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so bad. Okay, thank you guys for telling me. So John Walsh's son was murdered. Was he kidnapped and murdered? Is that because I know he has like a special like because his show is like all missing people, right? I wonder if it was Gabby's card or her parents' card or her parents. Oh, I'd be curious to know. Because if it was the parents' card, they could for sure press charges, right? I feel like they were just trying to search for anything they possibly could to be able to get a warrant out for his arrest. So that way, when they do, or if they do find him, they can arrest him rather than have to take him back to his parents' house. Oh, for sure, Denise. I agree. She said that the van had been scrubbed down by he and his dad. They had so much time to hide any kind of evidence of anything happening in that van or anywhere else. Like the fact that he was home from the first through she was reported missing on the 11th. They had so much time to cover anything up, which is like so frustrating. And then who knows what he did with it like with the van before he left for Florida. Like, I'm sure he got it. I mean, who knows? We don't even know her cause of death yet. So that will be very interesting. Oh, he did? Okay, so Alexandra brought up Brian. Is it Enton? That is who I've been following on Twitter. That's who I've been following on Twitter for like all the latest updates. He's been really good about giving updates and he's always camped out in front of the house or at the reserve. But Alexandra said that he also lost his brother via murder 20 years ago. So he's heavily invested in this case. I had no idea. I did not know that, but he does a great job with the updates and stuff. So that's who I've been going to get most of the updates. I think it's to see if the DNA that the girlfriend had on her or inside. Yeah, I kind of thought that too. They were trying to match DNA with whatever on Gabby's body. I don't know if they were, I don't know. Kidnapped and murdered. Oh, that's so sad. His son was beheaded. Oh my gosh, that is awful. I think it stated 3 different accounts in the arrest thing someone posted. Oh, interesting. So he used more than one. So sketchy. Just don't get how the parents can live with themselves knowing what they know. I know. And why are you not giving all the information you possibly can right now? They know something, they have to. He was home for way too long without Gabby for them not to know something. Especially with the dad, like Gabby's dad had words with him prior to this whole thing blowing up. And so you think it was sad. I don't know if you guys watched the Dr. Phil interview with the dad, but he was just basically saying like he called Brian's parents. He was calling Brian and Brian's parents and like over and over and over again. Nothing, like literally nothing. They never called him back. They never answered his, like nothing. They gave him absolutely zero, which is so like so wrong on so many levels. Jen, if he doesn't have legal ability to go to court in Florida, then they will have to have a different attorney who has jurisdiction. That's true. So It could very well be whatever his face is, Casey Anthony's lawyer, which um wish my Twitter would work on my phone so I could follow this case better. Yeah, there's a lot on Twitter from the Brian guy, especially. He's like right there on the scene giving, and he goes live like once or twice a day, just kind of updating. And his latest update was, I checked before I got on here, was just that the police said that the search at the reserve is continuing by air. But yeah, he goes live outside the house and just will like have the camera pointing on the house or whatever, and then he'll answer any questions that are in the comments. He's been really good about covering this whole thing. His parents know exactly where the Jack A is. I think so. I think they've got to. They've got to know where he's at. I wonder if they've like tapped the parents' phones or anything like that. Or if they can even do that. It's home for me. Domestic violence and murder is out of control in this country and world. I totally agree. And if anything, I think the parents, Gabby's parents, are setting up a foundation for domestic abuse, and they actually had some really awesome words to say today at her like celebration of life. How he was just talking about like, if you're in a bad relationship, like now's the time, like get out, just like get out. It's so hard, but I mean, hopefully Gabby's case can bring to light all of that and save some lives. People's parents. But we have to look at parents' perspective. Would people as parents turn their own kid in? Yep, I would. I mean, you're gonna say, "Oh, you murdered someone. Okay, how can we cover this up?" No. Sorry, I teach my kids like there are consequences to the decisions that you make. And murder is not, hello, that's like way out of the realm of anything. I would be the first person to be like, sorry, you pay the consequences. As hard as that, I mean, that's the last thing you want to hear, right? That's one of the last things you want to hear about your kid. Like your kid killing someone. Of course, you do not want to hear that, and that's sad and that's heartbreaking, but you still have to do the right thing. Irene says, I don't understand why dog is getting involved. It seems kind of weird, but I'm like hoping that he can help in some way. I know he's got a lot of resources and people to talk to, even in other countries. So who knows? We'll see. I think now we are seeing the timeline come together, and he probably killed her the 27th, 28th, and then left for Florida on the 29th and used her debit card to get home those 3 days. Yeah, because they were saying it takes at least 48 hours to drive from Wyoming to Florida. So that timeline seems about right. Brian and his parents were camping for 3 days before. So yeah, Douglas, is it true that Brian and his parents were camping for 3 days before they disappeared? So yes, the neighbors of them have given an interview saying that in that time that Gabby was missing, but before she had been reported, so in the time between September 1st and September 11th, the parents and Brian had left for a 3-day camping trip. They took the camper and everything, left for 3 days, and then came back. That is shady. Where did they go, and why do we not know where they went? Like, I feel like they need to look into that a little more, because that could have been the time that they spent trying to figure out like a place for Brian to go, or whatever. Because so for Brian to go to a different country, though, he would have had to use like a passport or something, right? Like, where I feel like they would be able to track that. Like if he went to a different country, like there's got to be so many resources that they're using right now and exhausting and just coming up with dead ends. I don't know. It's so weird. I would turn my kid in. You kill someone, you pay the price. Yeah, I don't care. I mean, yeah. That's the only in my mind, that's the only option. Like, what you're not gonna hide your kid out, right? I would totally turn my kid in. You have to live with your decisions. Yep. As heartbreaking as that is, obviously you don't want that, but we teach our kids from young age there's consequences to your actions. No matter what your actions are, there are going to be good consequences and bad consequences. And you make bad choices, that's what happens. She left major scratches on Brian's face too. She did. And you know what? Like, after listening to the 911 call, when the caller called in, which I feel like there was such a like miscommunication between the 911 call and the police officers, because they had said that Gabby was the what's the word I'm looking for? Crap, I can't remember, but that basically she was the aggressor. And they were basing that off of the fact that he had like scratches on his face, and like she was definitely taking responsibility for what she did. I do feel like she admitted to like punching his arm or something like that. But those scratches and those things could have been in self-defense. Like, you can't just assume just because someone has scratches on their face or whatever that they were the aggressor. That could have been self-defense. And the fact that the 911 call, the guy on the phone who called said he saw Brian slapping her and hitting her. So I feel like that communication like didn't relay very well to the police officers who were on the scene. Why does everyone think the FBI were there? Where, Trish? At the house? The FBI, they were there. They were there today collecting more DNA. If my child murdered someone, I would stand beside him, but with doing that is turning him in. You have to. You have to. Yes, Gembles, thank you so much. He hasn't even been charged with a crime. So no, the only thing that Brian they can arrest him now if they find him is because of the debit card use. For use of a debit card and the electronic PIN. So that's what they're starting with. I'm surprised they haven't found anything on her body to charge him with, to make him an actual suspect. So that's kind of surprising. I don't know. We'll see how that all plays out. Sorry, I'm trying to. Dev, he murdered her in self-defense. What are you smoking? Yeah, and honestly, if it was self-defense or if it was an accident, like some people say, why are you running? And why are you like, why wouldn't you just come forward and tell the story? Seems guilty to me. The scratches she left on his face were probably a result of her defending herself. Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I'm just curious, how did Gabby's story get so publicized? There are tons of missing people. How did her story? I don't know, Courtney. We've talked about this before. There's just certain cases, like, I mean, we had like the Casey Anthony case. There's certain cases that definitely get way more publicized, and I don't know or understand why, because you're right. There are so many. In fact, Jen Bowles sent me an article of somebody who's missing in Las Vegas, and I hadn't heard nothing about it. And we live in Las Vegas. So you're right. There are so many that get pushed under the, like, I even feel like the murder of those two women that were in the same area has been completely pushed under the rug as well. And I'm like, why are we not spotlighting that? Where's, like, they have no suspects for that. They have zero suspects for the murder, those two women who were shot to death. And apparently there was like a wedding that was like 1/8 of a mile away from where those women were murdered. Not one person from that wedding has been interviewed. So it is very interesting that certain cases get certain resources depending upon how publicized it is. And I do know that Gabby's family, her dad had mentioned that they worked really, really hard to get this case out to the public. So I don't know what steps they took or how they did it or what. But I do think the fact that she had social media and there was videos of them and different things like that, it got the public involved into like searching like their videos and stuff for evidence, and it like became this big thing with the public like trying to decipher what could have happened, and maybe that's why it started blowing up. But that's just a lot of cases sometimes just blow up, and then others it's like you don't even hear anything about, like me in my own city, and you don't even hardly hear any of it. So I don't know how that happens. I wish there was more avenues or more, I don't know, like if we could solve that problem. But the crazy thing is how impossible is that? There's so many people who go missing every single year. Like we're talking tens of thousands of people who go missing a year. Like how do you highlight every single one? It's so hard. This makes a weird sound when I drink from it. Yeah, sleepy. I'm sure that the officers that came to investigate the allegations feel very bad now for not realizing what was really happening. I'm sure there comes a lot of guilt. I'm sure. But I mean, I do feel like the cops did their best in trying to investigate and really monitor the situation. And I don't know. It's very easy to say in hindsight, right? Like, oh, they should have just like obviously it was like, but I think when you're in the situation, I feel like the cops were doing their best they could with the information they had, but it's just so hard. Hindsight, it's so easy to say that, right? Um, what does collecting more DNA mean? Compare evidence, or is there a body that they found perhaps to compare? Douglas, that's what I was kind of wondering. We were all trying to kind of figure out why they were collecting more DNA. We don't know. Some people are speculating that it could possibly be they're trying to match maybe some DNA they may have found on Gabby's body or anything like that. But then at the same time, we feel like they would probably already have his DNA from the van or from all of the other stuff that they've already collected. So it is very interesting that they are collecting more. I'm not sure exactly why. No one's like confirmed as to why exactly. They issued the warrant just to get him in for questioning. Yeah, it's a common move for police. Yeah, totally agree. Redneck Superman. I totally agree that I just feel like they were really searching for something to try to get just some sort of warrant so that they could arrest him when they found him. So now they have that, and then they'll bring him in for questioning, and I'm sure, hopefully he's still alive so that they can do that, but who knows? Yes, Tristan. During the body cam video, Brian said, I hope she doesn't have any complaints about me. And that was like the thing that was kind of when I first watched that body cam video, that was kind of what I noticed first was that she was literally taking responsibility for everything. And I feel like that's kind of like a victim like mentality. Like she naturally wants to protect him. And so she took all the responsibility and she didn't really say anything that he had done. Like for the caller to say that he was hitting and slapping her, she never told the police that. And so that was very interesting. And so right away, I knew something was kind of off because I'm like, she's literally taking all the responsibility. And apparently he did nothing. Highly doubtful. Yeah. Regardless of why the parents helped him, ultimately they will track their movements, the DNA. Yeah, totally. What if he didn't do it? What if he's hiding from the real person that killed Gabby? Wasn't there 2 other murders around there? I'm just thinking, I know this may sound weird. I'm just thinking. I mean, there's so many scenarios, Courtney. I think here's the thing that I think is weird too, is you had those 2 women who were murdered. They were shot to death. Okay. So 2 women that were shot to death in that area. There's also 2 men that are missing from that same area around that same timeline. And then you have Gabby. So you literally have 4 missing, no, 5, because you have the 2 that are dead. Oh, no. Yeah, the 2 that were shot to death, then you have the 2 that are missing, and then you have Gabby. So 5 people within the same area around the same timeline, which they were saying because it was at Grand Teton National Park. They have not had a missing person from there for like an obscene amount of years. And so for 5 people around the same timeline, it's kind of weird. So I don't know if there's like more to it. It just seems really weird that there were so many. And the other ones, what's also weird to me is the other ones aren't being talked about. So we're not hearing about this murder of the 2 women, and we're not hearing about the 2 guys that are also missing from there. So it's very weird. And I'm surprised. I'd be very surprised if they're not looking more into that. They may not have had Brian's DNA on file, or maybe was trying to show the family that the family was involved. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that. Yes, hit the thumbs up. That would be amazing. Thank you guys so much. Thanks, Douglas. Gabby's parents have cause for lawsuit against Northport PD for letting him flee at the very least. Yeah, and they're saying that he left without his wallet, he left without his phone, and that he was going to harm himself, or they were afraid that he was going to harm himself. But like I said earlier, I highly doubt that they felt that, because they waited 3 days to report him missing. So I don't think that if you're a parent and you're afraid your kid's going to harm themselves and they left, you're calling the police right away. Like, you're not going to wait 3 days. These parents are crazy. And in the video, he knew her phone password. Yeah, I'm sure he has the passwords to all of her stuff. Hey, Colleen. Yep, that's how domestic violence victims do. My mom did that before her husband murdered her. Oh my gosh, Shannon. I am so sorry. It happens all the time. They defend their abuser all the time. Sorry, I know there's comments. I'm just trying to get through all of them. What happened to innocent until proven guilty? Yeah, well, Chase, I know. It's true. I mean, and that's how the system works, right? Like, they are innocent until proven guilty. I'm just saying and speculating, and it doesn't look good. He looks very guilty. And maybe he's not. And there are a lot of you have brought up different scenarios and different things that could have happened, and that very likely could be the case as well. But it's just not looking good. It's just not looking good. And I have always said from the beginning, I just pray that they find him to at least get answers. So obviously he was the last one with Gabby. He's the last one to know where she was. So if there was something else that happened, he can at least help with that. And he hasn't been willing to help this entire time. And so he's looking pretty guilty. He's looking pretty guilty. But I mean, nothing's out of the realm of possibility, right? I thought maybe the girl couple saw them fighting and offered Gabby a place to stay. Yeah, well, and the fact that the couple who was shot to death, the fact that they had told a friend that they had a creepy person next to them is kind of weird too, like a creepy guy. So that's kind of weird. And the fact, like, the police have said that the cases are unrelated, which I think is very interesting, because they still don't even have a suspect for the case of the women who were shot. So I thought maybe they had determined that the cases weren't related because they had a suspect like somebody else, but that's not the case. So I thought that was interesting that they have already said that they're not connected. There are a lot of transient people there. There are a lot of missing people there. Some we never hear about. Yeah, Chuck, I'm sure. I mean, like we were saying earlier, there's so many people who go missing that we literally have no idea. Like, we don't hear anything. What if it's one of the cops from the body cam footage that is a murderer and he is the one who did it to Gabby, and Brian got away? He is scared because it is cops, so he's hiding. I mean, like I said, nothing's out of the realm of possibility, but I don't think that one's very likely. Brian is a huge fan of Chuck Paula. I don't know how to say that. Horror books. And in Lullaby, main character is a environmentalist, hates plastic, despises humans, goes barefoot, takes cross-country trips, and kills. Coincidence? I read into that too some, not the book, but into the theory that he was kind of copycatting this character in the book. And it is amazing the similarities between the main character in that book and Brian and how he lived his life. So it'd be interesting to maybe read a little bit more into that book and see if that would give any answers as to what he's doing right now. I don't know. Oh, it happened in Moab. How far is that though from the Grand Tetons? Because I do know Gabby and Brian were at the place that they work, I believe. So, how does anyone know how far Moab is from the Grand Tetons? I'd be curious. And maybe that's why they said. Yeah, Dev, they haven't said how she died. They did say though that that could take up to 2 to 3 weeks to get that information out. I personally believe they already know. They've already figured it out, but they just haven't released it to the public. But we'll see. I feel like that will kind of tell us a lot. Coming from a very abusive marriage, I always made excuses until I finally had the courage to get out. Yeah, Angie, you know, I'm so sorry to hear that you went through that. And it's true. You do. You make excuses, and not only that, sorry, someone's calling on my computer. I don't know how to shut that off, so it's just gonna have to ring for a second. Sorry, guys. The victim oftentimes finds ways to blame themselves. And so for like, oh, maybe if I did that differently, he wouldn't have reacted in that way, or, you know, whatever. That is very common with domestic abuse victims. They were constantly around each other. Yes. They know who the creepy guy was. It's been reported already. Cases are not connected. Yeah, who is the creepy guy? Because they haven't named a suspect in that. So that's what's interesting to me is that they literally, and like I said, there was a wedding like 1/8 of a mile away, and they haven't interviewed anyone from that wedding to see if they heard anything, or just that case about those two women isn't getting very publicized at all. And I think the only reason we know about it is because of the Gabby case. But I would just be interested to look into that more. Toxicology. Yeah, that's true, Jen. Okay, Chuck Jones says FBI showing up is just a tactic. They already have his DNA. They are trying to stir the parents to make contact. Oh, that's interesting, Chuck. I would believe that, Chuck. I could see that. Because no one's really had much communication. I don't know if they've had phone communication with the parents or what, but you're right. Like there hasn't been really anybody in or out of the house. I mean, they came out to go meet with their lawyer a few days ago, but other than that, it's been pretty quiet at the home. Just my opinion, but she was probably strangled. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure we'll find out eventually. If Brian was innocent, he would have reported Gabby missing 24 hours after she was gone. That's the biggest thing that makes me feel like he's guilty is this girl was the love of your life. Like this was the girl you were going to marry. This was the girl you traveled across the US with. And all of a sudden she goes missing and you don't help, number one, to even find her or try to locate her, but you're not giving any information about where her whereabouts could be. That's weird. I don't care if you're guilty or innocent or whatever. That's a very strange behavior. Moab is central South Utah, and Grand Teton Park is north of Jackson Hole. Several hours, I guess 7 to 8. Oh, interesting. Okay. I don't know. For some reason, it's been made to seem like they were very close, but that's good to know to get the facts straight on that. Creeps try to make you spaz out, then you feel guilty. It's true, because then you're like, oh, I must be the crazy one, because like you like freak out or try to defend yourself or whatever, and they're like, you're freaking crazy. What are you doing? And then a lot of the time, the victim will feel like the crazy one, and yeah, it's weird. It's a lot of manipulation. It's crazy. Steph says maybe the less they release, the more likely they are to find him. He's probably watching for updates and they are trying to limit some of that, force him out of hiding. I agree, Steph. I do feel like, as frustrating as it is for the public, there are a lot of things that just need to stay under wraps so they can figure it out and put the pieces together without everybody speculating or trying to mess with the investigation. So I totally get that. And I do think there are probably many, many things that they have tips for and different things that they are working on, certain leads that we have no idea about, for sure. Not connected to the victim. Okay. I heard his mom's net worth is $5 million. Yeah, I heard his family has some money, for sure. I wonder how much his parents really know. Ashley, that's like the $1 million question, right? How much do they know? Did he go home and lie to them? Did he go home and tell them what happened? Or like what? Like, I just feel like you would talk, right? Like, you would totally talk if you knew something that would help the investigation, unless you're guilty. It's so maddening. I heard they cleaned out the van. Parents hired. I blame myself for my abuse and for mom's murder as a child. The guilt is, oh, Shannon, never blame yourself. That's what's so sad, is I think a lot of people do. A lot of victims of domestic violence do that. And then they think there's something wrong with them, Now it could have been an accident, but at least turn yourself in and say he didn't mean to do it, but since he had ran, he did it on purpose. Yeah, the running and the not answering questions, like all that, it just seems too shady. It is. And I can understand, like, maybe no, I can't even understand that. So never mind. I'm fuzzy on the date that he flew back and went to the storage locker with his dad. That was shady. I'm fuzzy on the date too. I don't know exactly when that happened. I know it was, for some reason, the 16th or something is like standing out to me. But we haven't heard much about that. I would be curious about what happened in those days that he flew back home. For those of you who don't know, before all of this stuff happened, he did fly back home to Florida to help his parents or his dad or something with some storage units. We don't know exactly what, moving stuff in or moving stuff out, but then he flew back to Salt Lake City and met up with Gabby, and it was just like such a weird random thing. So, but we don't know much about that. I wonder if she was finally getting the courage to leave him and finding her own voice, and he didn't like that. Possibly. If you have filing, you definitely have somewhere to hide. Yeah, you could. Yeah, if you have money, I'm sure they could hole him up somewhere. A lot of there was a video I was watching, and I think someone was saying that he could possibly be in Venezuela, and that there was apparently a sighting of him there, but that's all speculation, who knows. But apparently it would be a good place for him to go, because they wouldn't like, that's a country that wouldn't, is it extradite him back to the US? Like, they would almost be happy to withhold him from coming back. So Laundrie's, wait, what? Laundrie's cat gone missing? Laundrie's very upset, denying knowing anyone called Brian. What? So confused. The video of Stop tells a lot. We haven't seen a lot of Brian's friends come out. I know, Chuck, that is so true. We have not seen. Has any of his friends come out? Did he have any friends? Like, maybe no one wants to admit to being his friend. Probably because he does not have many. He was knocking her attempts to create a vlog. Yeah, Insecure may have been upset. Yeah, I do think like the fact that we have those videos to see Gabby, like what a in a small way blessing, I guess, to have those videos to kind of get like an inside scoop as to what their relationship was really like, because I feel like those videos were very telling as far as otherwise, like you're looking at their YouTube videos and their Instagram, and they seem like the happiest couple. Like there was no issues, which is like the world nowadays, right? Like on social media, everyone's just so happy and blissful and there's no problems at all, right? So I do feel like that police cam footage is very, very important to have, because it just shows into their relationship a little bit more that it wasn't perfect and that there may have been some domestic abuse there and different things like that. So whoever called that and did that 911 call, kudos to them. I think his name was Chris. But kudos to them for calling in and reporting that. Danny is loud. Yeah, he's yelling upstairs to the kids. I know, Venezuela with no ID, no passport. Like if you didn't leave with anything, that's why I feel like he's not out of the country, because I feel like they'd be able to track that somehow. She flew home and returned. The meeting with the young couple on the 10th would have been a catalyst. Yeah. And what did Gabby do while he was gone in Florida? Like, did she just hole up in a hotel until he got back? Like, it's interesting. That's true. I could understand that the friends would not want to talk to the media, but they might have spoken to the FBI in private. That's very true. You guys, honestly, the media, like people who have come out saying like that they picked him up while he was hitchhiking, or that girl, that poor girl who saw them at the diner fighting, got so much hate from everybody. Like literally, she was posting some of the messages she was getting, and people were like threatening her life, like saying that she could have stopped the murder from happening because she saw this altercation, and like people go crazy. So I understand why people don't want to come out and like say anything like to the public, because people get crazy town. It's insane to me. I saw one interview with a guy that was friends with Laundrie, and he said that he loved Appalachian Mountains. Yeah, and also her best friend, when they interviewed her, had mentioned that too. So I know he was up there. I can't remember how many days he was in the Appalachian Mountain. I want to say like 10 days, something like that, where he was able to just to survive on his own with very, um, very minimal things. They don't want to say that they know him on a sinking ship, but in a heartbeat, they will give him up. Yeah, that's true, Rosie. My parents raised me to be a God-fearing person. I would never do what this person did. Absolutely not. And I would say that would be majority of people. Yeah, she was a mess, right? Like she was so upset. I felt so bad for her. Um okay, let's see. They can track through facial recognition camera. Yeah, like you could check airports, you could check there. I mean, there's so many ways. That's what makes me feel like he's probably still in the country. He's got to be out in the wilderness somewhere, whether it's at the reserve that they're at searching right now or whatever. I'm convinced that they have to have more evidence that he's there than just what the parents say, because I don't think they would be out there this long searching for him. Yeah, the one friend is being blamed now. Are you talking about the girl, the best friend? I have seen people saying she was involved somehow. I'm like, you guys are nuts. Like, we're just ready to throw anyone under the bus right now. Oh, 3 months, Kathy, in the mountains? So he finds ways to survive, and I did hear that when, whoever it was that was interviewed was saying, like, he was pretty proud that he was able to survive that long out there by himself with very minimal things. So, he definitely knows how to get along in the wilderness. So, who knows? They can track your passport. Yeah, see, I feel like they would have tracked all that by now if he was. Oh, there's Danny. Brian is not in Mexico. Doug said that Mexico is mostly run by cartels. Yes, exactly. I said that. I was saying that earlier too. That the cartels would easily give him up for money. So I don't think he's there either. I think he's in the country. I think he's either somewhere in the mountains or hiding out, or he's dead. Those are my thoughts. Yeah, that's true too, Colby. With all the COVID restriction, there's no way he got out of the country. I don't think he yeah, I agree. I like the more I look into it, the more I think he's not out of the country. But Dog the Bounty Hunter was pretty um he was pretty sure like about the Appalachians. He's like, we need to be checking there. So I'm curious if that will be eventually somewhere they look. I heard his parents own a boat. Where is the boat and what kind of boat is it? Ooh, I haven't heard that. I'd be curious. Makes you wonder if he's gonna pull something like suicide by cop just so no one can have the answers or closure. At this point, I think he's definitely a coward. He's for sure a coward, Steph. So I would be uh, I do really hope they find him alive just to get some answers. But who knows, even if they find him alive, who knows if he's even would be willing to give any answers, you know? Poor skinny bald guys. You guys, I'm telling you, there's been so many pictures of people that look exactly like this guy. It's like insane. Is that a ghost? Oh, Danny, no. That would be creepy. Um a case very similar in Brazil, and in the end the police and the criminal inside a bunker in the woods underground after a week. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, someone had mentioned earlier that, like, could he have some sort of underground something? That would be insane. I hope he's alive. I prefer straight up justice over death. Yeah, I hope so too. Just because I want him to have to live with what he is doing right now. Let's face it, people, if Gabby was an unattractive person or color, wouldn't be here. Think about it. No, I hate to think like that, Bob. I do feel like there were more I wish there were more ways and more avenues or something put in place to help more people who are out there missing that don't get the kind of media that like this case gets, or the Casey Anthony case, or the OJ case, or there's so many cases that are highly politicized, and it's hard to know why, but I do wish there was an avenue where we could, I don't know, like some sort of system or something where you could find or get the word out more about missing people. But like I said, tens of thousands of people go missing, and it's so hard to cover every single story. He will not kill himself. I've heard a lot of people say that he doesn't seem like the type that would. So that will be interesting. Okay, so Rosie says that dog will search long and wide, and my money is on Uncle Dog and the team. That would be crazy. That would be crazy if he did find him. He doesn't seem like a druggie or a tough guy, so I feel like a taser would drop him easy. So maybe he won't have to shoot himself unless he has a gun, which I think he does. Yeah, I'm curious if he has some sort of weapon too. But yeah, he doesn't seem like much of a tough guy. So, and hopefully the cops, if they do find him and he's not turning himself over, hopefully they find a way to bring him in alive. The neighbors also said that they had another camper. The one in the driveway was new. Not sure how true that is. Ooh, I hadn't heard that one yet. I'll have to look into that. If he's still alive, I can only imagine what he's going through his mind every single breathing moment of his. Yeah, who knows? People made their own bomb shelter. The largest one is in the USA, is in Florida. Oh, interesting. And him being an outdoorsy kind of guy, you almost would think he would know about something like that. The thing is, the media complains. Let's see. Hold on. I just lost it. Yeah, that's very true. That's a very good point. The epic raccoon. I like your name. The thing is, the media complains about other people not being reported, but they are the ones that do the reporting. So it's like, exactly. That's exactly right. It's like, then let's shed some light on some more cases. That's why I love, and I've literally have thought of doing this on this YouTube channel. I don't know. Let me know if you guys would be interested, but just in some small way, getting the word out about maybe some missing people or some cases or different things like that on this channel, just to bring to light, because there are a few channels that do that, and I do appreciate that, because it does, or like podcasts that of people doing different cases of missing people, because once their audience grows, then they really have that avenue to get the word out about missing people that we may have not heard about. So I do like that more and more people are doing that. Kind of helps, but yeah, it doesn't get the same coverage as if, the news were to report it or whatever. Um That's true, Chuck. That is very true. They are following the parents' movements from the 3-day trip. Do you not find it odd that no one has come forward claiming to have spotted them? They went somewhere specific and dropped him off. Yeah, they were gone for 3 days. No one saw anything. Like, of course, nobody at that time was really probably watching for anything, because that's hadn't like hit the news or anything at that time. But you would think somebody would have saw something. Maybe he went and died in the Appalachians because it was his favorite place. Hold on. Every time I scroll up, I lose it. Okay. Because that is his favorite place. Maybe he's so crazy it would have fascinated him to maybe die there. And also, what about the book with the killing the girls? Yeah, the book to me is very weird. Like, there's too many similarities between him and the main character in the book that makes it seem a little bit even more psychotic. I thought the Happy Halloween and B posted on her last post was creepy. Yeah. And a lot of people don't know that if it was her that actually posted that or if that was him. And it had like the fly or the moth emoji. And a lot of people are speculating that apparently their trip was supposed to end around Halloween. And so they thought it was weird that she posted. My kids are freaking out. Apparently she posted that. My kids are literally freaking out. Hold on. Let me text Danny. They're just playing, but okay, sorry. People are speculating that because they were supposed to end their trip around Halloween, that it's really weird that she said like Happy Halloween in September. So that's Danny. My kids are they're just getting ready to go outside. So they're screaming coming up and down the stairs. It's real life, guys. Did he study anything in school? Oh, I don't know. What kind of education does he have? Oh, see, all good questions. I don't know. Sounds like Elijah's winning. Elijah is winning the screaming war for sure. The cops will start looking at the street cameras when they left and see where they went. Yeah, they've got at this point. I feel like they've got to have all that information, right? Like I'm sure they have it. Does he possibly have a LinkedIn account? I don't know. I know he had like the Spotify account, which was actually really weird too, because there were like creepy, weird songs that they had up that they or he had uploaded. Oh, Charles, I totally missed your super chat. Thank you so much. If you have any money, if you have money, you can go to Cuba, and it don't take long to get there by boat. If a boat is missing, it's in Cuba. Cuba will not return people to America. They hate this country as it is. Yeah, so who knows if he got in a boat and went to Cuba? That is very possible. Yeah, that would be interesting if he had some sort of LinkedIn or resume on there. Hopefully they've looked into all that. No, he is on the Appalachian Trail. I would be curious. I mean, Dog the Bounty Hunter seemed pretty like certain that that is a very good possibility because he's been there. He kind of knows the area. He knows the terrain. He's survived there. Where does anyone know where exactly that's at? Because I don't know. So one of the books he was reading, I believe, was called Lullaby. Is that right, you guys? Sorry, it's texting. I think it was called Lullaby, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I know. Spooky. There are people saying that they're thinking that the best friend helped him. I don't know. I'm sure I don't think so. But people just want to find others to blame. And so I think it's just gonna like I think everything has been spun a million different ways of what could have happened that it literally is kind of getting out of control. So it's like I just try to focus on the facts and things that are happening right now because it could get into crazy speculation. Yes, Alex, he had already spent 3 months on the trail alone. That will be the place that he feels most comfortable. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, and I'm actually surprised that they haven't gone there. Oh, it starts in Florida and ends in Canada. Interesting. I did not know that. Cuba is 90 miles, also super communist. They would arrest him. They do not like foreigners. They keep an eye on everything. Okay. So maybe not Cuba. Who knows? Who knows? For me, like I said, I think he's somewhere in the wilderness. It could be the Appalachians. It could be where they're searching right now at the reserve, the Carlton Reserve, or he's out there, but he like killed himself in nature. Like I think those are the two most likely scenarios. Have there magazine? I know there have been serial killers already at the Appalachian Trail. I did not know that. That is very interesting. Everybody on the Appalachian Trail are looking for him. Good. See, that's where it's nice that people know the story because they can keep an eye out. I bet he started out on the trail not any longer. Yeah, I'm sure. But leaving the time to hike the trail to Canada, by the time you make it to the northeast, it will be middle of winter. Oh, wow. So he won't make it that far. The AP Trail starts in northern Georgia and ends in Maine. The Appalachian Mountains go from Tennessee to Canada, and I think, okay, we're getting so many conflicting places. The interview room here on YouTube says it has a secret Twitter. He's checking it out on his channel. Oh, interesting. Does anyone know why the parents were just wandering around the library? The report says they never even picked up anything. They just wandered around, maybe to see if. Oh, I haven't heard anything about a library. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. You guys, I'm giving updates on this on my Instagram stories. So if you're not following me over there, make sure you're following me. I'm trying to do it as much as I can as I get updates. I just post it in my stories. So it's Tina_Phillips_ over on Instagram. Horror production and was a huge fan. I know. So that's also shady. So many mentions in his Instagram. Also, Lullaby's main character has so scary similarities to this case. Fantasy turned reality. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. A lot of people are thinking that about with these books that he's reading. And then a lot of people are like, oh, well, a lot of us listen to true crime or read books like that. And that is true, but not a lot of us are connected to murder cases like this. And the similarities to the main character in that book are crazy. Like crazy, crazy, which to me, if that were the case, it almost seems premeditated, which I've said that before, but I know the game's on. I know Ethan just texted me. I got to go watch the game, but stop it, Charles. He first known murder of the Appalachian Trail took place in 1974. To date, there have been 13 total. Wow. I don't think I want to go there. Oh, your name's Ethan. That's awesome. That's my son's name. Okay, you guys, I better go. The game is on. I got to go watch this game with my son, but I will be doing updates again on my Instagram. So make sure you're following me over there. I will pop on here to do more updates as well. And I'm hoping to pop on here later tonight to talk about clickbait. So any of you guys who have seen the clickbait series on Netflix, we are talking about that tonight and going over all of that, which will be so fun. Sorry, I'm reading your guys' comments. Stop. Don't tell me that. Okay. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me. Come follow me on Instagram, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Hopefully tonight I will pop back on here. So we'll see you guys soon. Go Pack Go. Bye, everybody.